Hello, welcome to another Tuesday night of Macon. It's a great time of week. I love it. Every Tuesday night we get together, we find out what other people are working on, whether they've had failures, maybe they have questions, or they want to share what they've made. And we're going to start it off tonight with James and rockets. Are you going to shoot us into space, James?
Not this time.
Not this time? Oh, it looks like it could. Definitely in the front for that one, David, huh?
See. So, like I said, I'm a transplant from Texas. I'm slowly unpacking all my boxes. This is one of the ones from my middle school years that I thought I would share for anyone that was interested. This was part of my 8th grade Mars rocket program. My school was a magnet school, so every semester we had a theme that all the classes kind of worked around. For this one, everybody made their own rocket. The goal was to actually put a chunk of wood inside of this and launch it and pretend that it was, and wherever the chunk of wood lands, you put an RC car and drive it like you were on Mars. This one never actually launched. I think I left there was a bag on the floor in the very back corner. Yeah, 1 second. I dropped the bag. No, small bag. That's a tiny thing. Sorry. My bad. This rocket never actually launched. We had a bad shipment of motors, and the motor mount exploded on the launch pad. Unfortunately, a rocket of this size requires FAA clearance in order to launch, and I was never quite sure how you do that once I left my middle school, as the middle school coordinated all that. So for anyone that was of interest, a model rocketry has the limitations that if you have more than 29 grams of propellant, it weighs over 500 grams, it has any metal, or goes over 1,000 feet, or is within a quarter mile of an airport, you require FAA clearance. Yes? I do not know. This was 20 years ago. I don't remember offhand. But at the same time, I did have one other very interesting rocket. This was a vertical takeoff glider. It's a bit broken from 20 years in storage. But the neat thing with this was that it would launch vertically, has a little launch rod mount there. And with the weight of the motor, it would be top heavy, making it stable for vertical flight. But when the motor ejected out at the end, it would then change the center of gravity and act as a glider on the way down. This one got to launch at least once before I broke it, as you can tell from the burn pattern. Any questions? You in the back.
Did it ever actually hurt you when it exploded?
The what? No, whenever you launch these rockets, you're usually like 50 feet away with a long wire and launching it with the remote.
Makes sense.
All right. Anyone else? Oh.
So, did anyone consider the bad motors?
What's the question?
Who's asking if any of them work because of bad motors?
This one got destroyed by a bad motor. I do have other rockets at home that could launch if I got new motors in them. They're disposable one-use motors, so if you got a new one, you could try and launch it again.
Okay.
Yes?
Are you planning to use this to rescue the astronauts' currents?
See,
Get there faster.
it might get there faster. So one of the neat things with this is a lot of people tend to think that these are extra motor mounts. These are the fins. They're just turned around on themselves. So these are cylindrical fins and not extra motor mounts. A lot of people tend to think they're for motors when they first see that. Yes?
How many motors did you actually have in?
This was only a single motor in the center, using this single motor mount. So you can kind of see in the center, it's kind of clear at the moment. So yeah. All right. Any other questions?
What's in the nose cone?
In the nose cone would have been just the block of wood to represent the rocket. At the moment, it's kind of just empty, and I stored the parachute inside of it. Technically, the way that this would launch, it would be kind of having the parachute tangle between the both of them, and kind of come down to hold the payload. Yes?
So it separates in the air and parachute comes between them?
Yes. Any other questions? I think that's it for the time. Thank you very much.
All right, I get to fly away, including a few little nibbles. So if any of you want to know more, there is a rocketry channel on Mattermost. You can join and talk rocketry. Yeah, so in the meantime, we've got a riddle for you, courtesy of Martin.
Here's a riddle. What do you call a tool for sifting compost, mulch, or soil? I've already given you the clue. Yes. Pardon? It's a riddle. R-I-D-D-L-E, just like the trick question. And it's a noun and a verb. We riddle when we use this, and if something is riddled with holes, that doesn't mean that it's trick questioned with holes. It has so many holes in it, it looks like a sieve. Okay, my wife and I, for our riddling, usually use our Dollar Tree wire mesh baskets, which work fine. I needed a little coarser, so I determined that half-inch hardware cloth was going to be what I was looking for, and I wanted to make it as simply as possible, including because I don't have any bench tools to speak of now. No table saw, no sliding compound miter saw, no drill press, any kind of thing like that. So I cobble together my projects right now with hand tools and handheld power tools. So I knew that I had I got the 24-inch wide hardware cloth, and this looked like a project that would be one of the few projects where the curl that it has would actually be an advantage. I could have made this, a square end and square corners, but then I would have to bend the darn stuff. So I decided to take advantage of the curvature, and I knew I had a scrap piece of wood, of shelving, and I thought it was, 1 by 12 pine, but it turned out that it is one of those assembled boards where it's glued together. So show of hands, how many think that when this gets wet, it's all going to fall apart? I don't know. I did experience that very early in my do-it-yourself career when I wanted to build a trellis for planting a muscadine, and I had the inspiration to make it a hyperbolic paraboloid, and I found what small cross-section wood I could find and put it together, and I was so proud of it. And then after 2 or 3 rains, it was just a little puddle of wood scraps below the pitiful little plant, because it turned out that it had been finger jointed molding that I'd gotten my hands on for interior use, and it had just all fallen apart. So in this case, I knew I wanted the rounded edge, and I knew I had a tool for it that my brother-in-law had given me 27 years ago, and there are probably other brands of it now, but it's a spiral saw. This was a rotozip with a little circle cutting attachment. That worked fine, except that the limit of it apparently is to cut a 12-inch hole, not to cut a 12-inch plug. So it came up a little short because this, or maybe they figured if you were going to cut a piece like this, it would be a 1 by 12. It'd be 11¼ inches and not the full 12 inches of this put together shelving board. So it came up a little short, so I needed to rip off a little extra on one side, but I had a tool for that too. And so this is my substitute for I do have a handheld circular saw and a saber saw, but this is handy, and this is probably 10 years old. I went for the 4.5 inch so that I could cut a full 2x, 1.5 inch board with it. Most of them are 3.5 inch, and you can cut a 1x with it. And I don't know that necessarily meant that all this had to be fatter back here, but it's a Bubba tool, so I can barely reach around to hit the safety to be able to pull the trigger, having a small arthritic hand. So I got this part done, and then I was ready to assemble it and had to think about the sequence, and I decided, well, I got a factory end here on the hardware cloth, so let me start stapling to that. And, by the way, for that saw, I used this to cut it, besides that rip, to cut it in half, since I didn't have something else like a table saw to do that. So I used this gizmo to make a square cut, and this has a little sliding gauge there for what the offset is of the blade from the shoe, so I can draw my pencil line and then set this on the line and reliably get a square cut that way where I want it. So to staple, this made a lot of sense to me when these came out, because all the time before that, and still, most manual staplers are the other way around, that you squeeze back here and the staple comes out here. But it's ergonomic purgatory, because you're putting the pressure back here, but you really need to be pushing down in order to have good contact to get the staple in the way you want to. So this solves that problem by you're putting the pressure where you want the staple to come out. And there may be other brands now that are put together in a similar way. And for these 1x2s, I just use a little miter box and a back saw to cut those. That was the quickest way to get that done. So I stapled those, nice square here, where I then screwed this to the end boards. But wait a minute, it didn't come out even on the other end. Why didn't that come out even? Well, these, it may or may not be square on the leading edge of your hardware cloth, but pretty soon it's going to start going like this, so it had skewed out of square by the time it had got around here. But, this is pretty utilitarian use that I need this for, so that was fine. Any questions? Russell?
I heard of a place in South Knoxville that has those kind of tools.
Yeah, well, most of my projects are very utilitarian, and they are not woodworking zone tools. They are off-topic channel projects. Yeah, Brian.
As soon as I saw that, I thought you created a chicken tractor for little quail.
That may be its second life. Yes.
If you're having trouble with your engineered wood getting wet, you can get paraffin brand spray urethane, and it will seal the ends up, stop it from swelling up. You can get it at Home Depot and Lowe's, paraffin brand.
Okay.
They have water-based and oil-based.
Sounds like a plan. Good. Yeah, yes.
With the hardware problem, how many times did you jab yourself in the finger with this stuff?
Well, I've come to terms with this kind of material for years, and I hope to get back to it. I did a lot of work, sculpture work with expanded metal lath, which can be even nastier, as many of you may know. So there's hardware cloth, expanded metal lath, blackberry canes, and poison ivy, kind of veering off a little bit. We all come to terms with each other, so we all coexist. Yes, Russell?
One more, seriously, when you are riddling, do you just put the material in there and shake it?
Yes, and speaking of ergonomic purgatory, if I were doing it again, I would probably make this shoulder width for me. I could do it a little longer. And besides the coarseness, I wanted a little larger volume, I thought, but I'm not sure. I may go back to the Dollar Tree wastebasket. Yes.
You not put a long handle on the side and just rock it?
I've seen all kinds of plans. There's, a gold Bering Creek in California, and the rules for all the folks around. You can't have mechanized things, but somebody had made something out of a lawn chair where he could, he had the hinges and whatnot. And I've seen more than one place the tip to put a random orbital sander on your riddle and let it, I don't know, that's have to be an awful lot wonkier one than I have to do that. Any other questions? Thank you.
I think I was thinking along the same lines as Brian. Could you not rock it back and forth
I am
with the
open
rounded
to
bottom?
suggestions. I invite you to join the Plants, Gardening, and Farming channel, and let's share ideas there.
All right. I may hit you up later with, I think I can adapt that to something I've been working on.
All right.
Yeah, so speaking of let's work together on this, how about Neil with the collaborative effort?
So among the 10 zones that we have here at Knox Makers, I think it's 10, correct me if I'm wrong, there are what I refer to as 2 subzones, and that would be the hack rack and the wood scrap bins over in woodworking. And like some people, I believe, every time you come in here, I know every time I come in here, I go through both of them to see if there's anything that I want to keep or that should be interesting. And yesterday morning I came here and I walked to the wood first, checked out, grabbed a couple of pieces that we'll bring back at some point to be used in the demonstrations when I give the classes. And then I walked by the hack rack and saw something that caught my eye and held it, and all of a sudden it was like, wow, what I could do with this. And the original intention was to create a sculptural piece that would make a piece of wood look like it was being swallowed by this item. And I figured I had to take a piece of wood and create some type of a spiral so it looked like it's just swinging, just sinking right into this item. Well, we're here to confess failures. I finished it. It didn't quite look that way to me, but it still had some interesting appeal. And so I'm going to show it tonight, keeping in mind that this was a quick turnout yesterday of about 3 hours worth of work. And the wood, I'll say, came from the scrap bin for real, and the other item came from the hack rack. So instead of my sculptural piece swallowing up a piece of wood, what I got was a small hand-powered mini lathe. So if you can't quite see what this is,
That's pretty sharp.
a nice piece of walnut here, nice piece of maple here, and this very old pencil sharpener. And if the person who put this pencil sharpener out there is here tonight, thank you. Just heartfelt thank you. So that's the collaborative effort, and I'm titling this piece, Hack Rack Meets the Wood Scrap Bin. Any questions?
I just had a thought that maybe the next piece would be like a robot that's turning people.
But that takes away the human element. Okay. I'll pass it around.
I've gotten to where I never know what to expect from you, other than the unexpected, right? Okay, moving right along. Let's talk about a Vol for Life bear. Joe?
Good evening, everybody. My wife's a quilter, and she's leaving tomorrow to go to a week-long quilting retreat over toward in Clark Range, Tennessee. And she's gone for 4 years now, and this is after her post-cancer surgery and radiation. But everybody gets, they decorate their own little sewing station. So she made up this little bear. And she's made different jerseys for it. Considering UT won the World Series thing in the college college baseball, got a baseball bat, and she's added some other things to it. But yeah, oh, there it is. I've got these little sound modules that I use. And my son, he was in a modeling contest with some of the plastic models he builds, and he did a Godzilla, so I made a sound module to go in it. So this one being for Vol for Life thing, I just added a little. It plays the whole thing, so. I've got a nephew that's, he was working down in Birmingham, Alabama for a big company, and I made him a power tee, and I put a sound module in it. And when you press the button to turn it on, it played John Ward doing through the pass, and he's down to the 10, he's down, and then give him 6. They told him not to bring it back to the office. So. Yeah, my sons are doing another modeling contest in a few months, and my youngest one, the one this past weekend down in Huntsville, Alabama, he got first place in his group, and his brother got third place. But the one he's wanting to do is a Saturn V. I've downloaded all the Mission Control audio tracks from Mission Control, and the model he's got of the Saturn V is not that big, so I'm looking for a larger model and build the launch pad and everything for it. And then I'm going to make a little compartment inside that we can put some dry ice and pipe the hoses up and have the fog coming out around the ports on the rocket. Okay?
Well, I don't know, Joe, if you're looking for something bigger, maybe you ought to get with James back there and his rocket, all right?
I got some Gemini rocket models.
Oh, Brandon, why don't you come up and show us a frame you made?
I'm not going to pass around the whole frame because it's pretty bulky and heavy. One of the lessons learned from this project. Made this mostly on the laser cutter over the last couple of weeks for a concert poster frame. I'm not sure exactly what the best way to just set this up is. Let's do this. I don't know if I can-
People in the back, we hold it up on
Oh yeah.
stand just kind of, yeah.
Like here?
Oh, I meant on the.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did a couple of cool things with this I've never done or tried before, and most of them turned out okay. This was 3 layers The back layer is hardboard, and it had the inset designs kind of shrunken in as small as possible without just collapsing in on themselves. Then there is a medium or a middle layer of birch plywood between the front and the back that is unstained just to get the light color to pop through. The designs are a little larger. And in the front, I fully cut through a lot of the designs. Put some details from the concert into here, I guess. The designs along here, the band's logo. It's a band called Pretty Lights. I'm sure most people have not heard of them. Yeah, there we go. But they've got, see if I can get some details on this thing. See if it'll fit under there. Yeah. So the concert was at Red Rocks in Colorado. So this is the, I guess, logo from, is there a way to flip the image on there?
Not flip it, you can make it larger and smaller.
Okay. Well, imagine what it looks like upside down from what you're seeing. But so there's the venue logo, and then throughout the middle, I got the different members of the band, the keyboard, drummer, the DJ, guitarist, violin. But it was a really cool setup. The guy in the middle, he has a huge analog synth behind him. He's plugging in different things to make different sounds throughout the show and pulling in different pieces of the live band and kind of controlling what goes over the live mix. Got a couple of their album covers rastered in. There's one there, and then on the other side, both kind of spaceship themed. Yeah, it was a really cool show. Probably the best concert I've been to, and I didn't think just a regular frame from Walmart was going to do it justice. A couple of the lessons learned from it. One, make things that you're going to do in layers out of cardboard or something cheaper first to make sure they actually line up. The piece I'm passing around right now, I made a full frame and realized a lot of the pieces did not line up, so this is take two. And even on take two, there's a couple things that didn't cut all the way through. Like if you notice, a couple of the circle bubble things up here, they're flat edge instead of cut all the way through. Another lesson I learned, which I would have known if I'd actually held everything together. Glass is heavy. I should have used acrylic. This is, I don't know, 12 pounds or so. So it hangs on the wall, but a little awkward to move around. And then other lesson is probably should have siliconed or did some kind of adhesive on the glass, because if you can hear through the microphone, it's just kind of loose in there. But I have the front overlaid over it, so I can hold it upside down. Not going to fall out. Yeah. Any questions? I haven't uploaded it anywhere yet. Y'all are the first people to see it. So, but yeah, I was happy with how it turned out, and it looks good on my wall.
I've got to ask, how long did it take to make that?
The lasering itself, probably about 3 hours total. The cutting the wood for it, not very long, maybe 30 minutes total. But the main thing was just the design work, because everything but the, I guess, band logo and the venue logo there was just hand done by me in Inkscape, and I'd never done any of that before. So all the different band members and instruments and designs along the side, those were all done in Inkscape. Oh, and if you can kind of see this, I lined up the image of the poster in Inkscape with what I was working on. So I was able to cut out like where the cloud is to make that fit, and where the stars are in the background, so those would shine through. But yeah, I was able to get everything to line up really well.
Is that the first frame you've ever made?
Yeah. Well, I guess technically the second. The first design, second iteration. Yeah. Any other questions? Thanks.
That is wonderful. I too am just starting to learn how to use Inkscape, so I know the pain. Okay, so let's move on to Amos with something Shadow Moose, I believe.
So if you're on the 3D printing channel on Mattermost, you've already seen this, but a few months ago, I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw, a few months ago I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw an interesting little post, and I will wait till it resets and then put it down quickly. Momentarily. Okay, so it was this little shape like this. And in the comments, somebody was like, how would you design this? And the creator never responded, but I did. And I took a crack at kind of how I would model it up, and then didn't think about it again until last Thursday when somebody sent me a direct message and was like, hey, can you make a video tutorial on that? And I said, maybe, but not for a few months. But then I thought, I should probably make sure I actually know how to, like my method will actually work. And so about an hour later of playing around in Blender and then 2 hours later to print it, I had this right here as the shape that I made. And what's cool about it is you just do something like, see if you get it. There we go. So it's kind of hard to see with the contrast, but you get a moose head there. And so, yeah, let me see if can I do the, nope, I did it wrong. The lamp is what I needed. It should come on in a moment. Well, I took just a moment. It'll be back in a second. So basically what you do to make one of these is you import, there we go. Let's see if we can do it on there. So the problem is that the phone kind of covers it up, but you can sort of see it if I go up to it, because it's the same sort of thing, but it works better with your eye than it does on a camera. And part of the issue with that is that most cameras, they have like a 70-degree cone that they'll open, and when I made this, it was with like a 45-degree cone, so it's really trying to take too much spread to it. But what you do is you take an SVG file of something that you want to make a projection of. It's called an anamorphic projection. And then you extrude it upwards and then scale it down to a point. And then you move the point down to a special region where a cylinder would intersect with two or more sections of the shadow. And then you extrude up a tube and then Boolean subtract the pyramid thing from the tube, and that's what this shape is. So basically you make a hollow region anywhere the light needs to go and then just subtract that from a tube. And that's how it was built. It went pretty quickly in Blender, and one of the reason I did it in Blender is partly because in Blender, here's the picture view of the, actually I need the picture view of the same thing. So one of the reasons I did it in Blender is because in Blender you also get to do a simulation of how it's going to behave in the light. So I can add a point source with some volume to it and move that light source around and see how it's going to behave before I print the thing out. So, yeah, anamorphic projections. Try them out sometime.
And that sort of genius is why I love coming on Tuesday nights. Don't you get inspired to do something really cool? But, you know, now that Amos has got us started talking about lights, I know Russell just has to come up here and talk light something. Yes. Yeah.
Normally, at this point, Billy would say, it's a lamp, but I don't have a lamp. I'm following Neil's inspiration. Last market, we had the lightsaber hilt challenge and had some very interesting lightsaber hilts made. Are you going to talk about the market?
Yes.
Okay. Sue's going to talk about our upcoming market, which is going to be at night, so it will be dark. So, imagine that. Yeah. Following Neil's inspiration, we're going to have a light challenge so that everybody is invited to make their own lamp. There will be a competition. I'm going to get with Neil tonight to come up with a set of maybe, I don't know, 2 rules maybe. It'll be very simple. Just get something and light it up and enter it in the competition. I wanted to show you some ideas of things that you can actually make lamps out of. Joe, I didn't make any of these. Joe actually made this lamp out of a chain and just random light parts that he found, I guess, on. Joe, where is Joe? There he is. That come off the hack rack, some of this stuff?
Well, I found them in my house when I moved in.
Okay. Okay. Found items. Found items are the best. And there it is, pre-bulb. Also, you could make things from the laser zone. So far we have welding represented. Now we have the laser zone represented. That's the inside. And there it is finished. Tracy made that one. We've already got some experienced lamp makers here. There it is, lit up. David made a terrific bottle lamp. Man, now this was mostly hack rack stuff, right? Yep. Mostly hack. Look at this bottle lamp. Is that beautiful or what? Man, oh man. Got the whatever kind of box this is, and a Coke bottle, duct tape, or what we call Newport Chrome. So cool stuff there. And arts and crafts can be represented as well. Sean actually made a lamp out of hot glue and cardboard. Yeah, I think that one is terrific. So if you think you can't make a lamp, think again. You can do it. Oh, look at this thing that Neil made, a tensegrity lamp, which he's already made it, so we're going to disqualify him since it's already made. Because the competition starts today. So, I mean, this thing is super cool. I wish it showed up a little better. I wonder if the lamp would help. No. Yeah, maybe. Anything. That thing is super cool. So anyway. You don't have to make it today, no. Oh, yeah. Well, that sounds like something he would say, yeah. But put your thinking cap on, and we will keep you updated. We will create a Mattermost channel for the lamp challenge and come up with if you have a clever name for the lamp challenge, that would be great too. And a bright idea. Neil has an idea.
Maybe there should be a class on how to make lamps.
Maybe a class, yes. We will be having a lamp making class, which will be announced within the next week or so. So that if you need help in how to wire and do electrical things. Of course, y'all have seen some of my electrical work with the blue smoke fire and letting the smoke out of the stuff. So I'm not an electrician, keep that in mind. You need to get approval from your own personal electrician before you plug it in. So yeah, so be on the lookout, and we do accept, oh, we got some questions, yes.
Time frame?
Sir?
Time frame?
Oh, time frame. They will be judged at the night market. So they have to be turned in by, I don't know, when Neil comes up with the rules, we'll let you know. Roughly 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Yes, Rob?
Is there going to be like extra credit for having battery operated since you know electricity out there?
For this, we will provide electricity. If you do want to use a battery, yeah, we'll give you a brownie point for that. No. Actually, the people visiting the market will be the judges. They will vote on their favorite. Yes, Tracy. You may submit a lantern. Does it light up? Does it light up? If it lights up, it counts. Yeah. John Dale I know he's going to try to submit the fiber laser. Because that's basically a lamp, but that's not going to happen. Yeah. Yes. Fire. Will it make light? Yes. All right. If it makes light, it's a lamp.
Does the lamp have to exist when it's done making light?
So like a self-consuming lamp?
One-time lamp?
One-time lamp. Yeah, I guess single-use lamp. Yeah, I guess campfires could be a lamp, I suppose. Yeah, we'll let you know what the rules are. They're going to be very lax. Yes, Sue.
So in the last challenge, we had the members vote on the Tuesday before.
Uh-huh.
And then we let the public vote on the Saturday. Will it be that same format?
Yes, I think, is that right, Neil? Yeah, same format.
So timeline, the market's going to be on the 12th.
Yep.
So they need to have it finished by the Tuesday.
The Tuesday prior to October 12th.
Or maybe even a little sooner, depending on when you guys
Right.
cut it off.
Right. Yeah, we'll post it in the new channel because I'm going to rely on Neil to be my rules guy because he's smart like that. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all about the lamps. We will be accepting items from far away, so Dodie, if you want to submit one, send it on down and we'll put it in the competition. All righty then. Okay, be on the lookout for light.
That's great. Let's see, how can oh, no, I better still focus on other projects. So next up, we want to talk about the market. It's on the 12th. As you can imagine, there's several things we have to do behind the scenes to get ready for it. And some of the things we're already gearing up about, like it's at nighttime, we need to have lights. So I've got an order placed for some lights to see if they'll work. They should all be here Saturday. I believe you're going to give them a test Saturday night. Yep. We also thought about getting some decorations going. So if that's maybe more your thing, doing some decorating, maybe combine a light with Amos's model to project something scary and spooky, since it will be October 12th. That would be a good thing to do as well. We can use your help no matter what your skill is. I know we had someone help with the Thunderdome last year. It was greatly appreciated. Thank you, Tracy. It looked awesome. Yeah. So yeah, there's lots to do, and the work of many hands makes it so much easier. Plus, you learn from others and other skills. So if there's any, excuse me, take a breath. New folks, afterwards you can get a tour, talk to anybody with the red badge. They can answer questions that maybe others can't. You're welcome to wander around and talk to people. We often ask for volunteers to change the AC filters If you don't know how, we can hook you up with somebody that does, so that you'll be able to do it next time. There's both the AC filters in Bay 2 and then the jet filters in the wood shop. So come on up if you would like to do that, and we'll get you hooked up. And next up, we want to talk about, for those new members or possible new members, we have a new member onboarding on Thursday, right, Tracy? Yeah. Thursday, so come and find out more about us. You don't have to be a new member to come. You don't have to have already signed up. You can just come and learn about us. Maybe, like me, it's been a long time since you've been to one and you want to kind of refresh your memory and meet new people. That's always a good thing too. So that's Thursday night. Friday night, we're having an auth class on the heat press. And of course that includes the sublimation printer, because most people want to print the coffee cup or the tumbler. But with the heat press, you can do ribbons and t-shirts and heat transfer vinyl, as well as sublimation printing. On Sunday, there's a MIG class, and I noticed, at least at the beginning of the show and share, there were still 4 tickets. The last time I emceed and there was a MIG class, they were sold out by the time we got to the end of the presentation. So they go fast, so sign up if you want that class. That's all I have. So with that, thank you all for coming, and make things out in the shop.